The senator from Kansas.
Madam President, thank you. I rise today to express my dissatisfaction, disappointment over what is a life and death matter for many Americans. And my disappointment is about the actions recently taken by the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. And the action they took was reinstating the organ procurement organization, Live On NY. Now, I'm a Kansan. This is not an organization that is located in my state, but this decision by CMS, when combined with recent policy changes from the Organ Procurement and Transplant Network, misses the mark, and it misses it widely. We should be improving the organ procurement process and increasing the number of available organs for transplant rather than expanding the distance organs travel and moving additional organs from high donation areas to low donation areas. CMS's recent decision to renew this contract, which was initially meant to be canceled due to years of prior performance, is troublesome. This organization was the only organization out of the 58 organ procurement organizations to have a contract canceled for poor performance, which was only done after numerous reprimands and penalties that failed to lead to improvement. Conversely, it was reassuring that CMS was finally going to take some responsibility toward ensuring that donor organizations are adequately performing their jobs and protecting patients. However, CMS quickly reversed course and abdicated their duty to protect some of our nation's most vulnerable patients when they announced they would reinstate this license. Our nation continues to face a shortage of organ donors. We need more donor organs, but our agencies and organizations who should be demanding accountability and improvements continue to turn a blind eye to a culprit, and that is the consistent failure to live up to expectations and to waste organs that could save lives. This failure to address this issue increases wait times for patients who need organs and causes unnecessary stress and anxiousness for those who are on that waiting list for a potential organ at a time in which they grow sicker and sicker. Health and Human Services, CMS, the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services, HRSA, OPTN, and UNOS. These are all abbreviations for organizations that share the blame for the predicament our country finds itself in. And this is perhaps the most important part of what I want to state again on the Senate floor. These organizations have decided that instead of pushing organ procurement organizations to do their job, they will simply draw more organs away from areas with quality organizations, donor organizations, and high donation rates, places in the Midwest, places like Kansas, places like Missouri. So the solution to a problem, lack of organs to be transplanted, is not to get more people to donate organs and to improve the organizations responsible for those donations, but instead to take organs from places that are doing their job and transmit them across the country. I have written and I'm waiting on responses from the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Secretary Azar. There are two letters, in fact, that remain unanswered. The first letter was sent by Senator Blunt and me, expressing our concern at OPTN's decision to ignore transplant experts and push through a dangerous new policy related to liver allocations for donation. The second letter, signed by a quarter of the United States Senate, expresses broad concern with OPTN's process and the reasoning behind a proposal that appears to disadvantage areas which have actually done their jobs. This new policy punishes those who are successful in procuring organs for donation and rewards those who continue to fail and do not appear to attempt to make improvements. Let's recall the new policy that we are complaining about was rammed through by OPTN and UNOS that will simply shift donated organs like livers to wider areas across the country while doing nothing to improve the donor rates countrywide or to improve the performance of OPOs. This is simply an avoidance of the problem, not a solution to it. CMS has failed to conduct proper oversight of organ procurement organizations, leading to organ shortages that carry a real cost in patient lives who die while waiting on transplant lists. Madam President, this is a matter that affects many states, and it is time for us to have answers from those who make these decisions and who make decisions without input from those affected. So I again ask my Senate colleagues to pay attention to an issue, liver transplants, something that will make a difference in the life of many Americans in your state and mine. Madam President, I yield the floor.